right, everybody. We're actually live this time, and we're back for another episode of Chat and Draw with the double hitter. And it is Chat and Draw Tuesday, and we're digging in, and we have an awesome guest on here. Now, you're probably wondering who I am. Some of you may not because you watched the previous episode that I just was in 20 minutes ago. But for those of you who don't, I am Mike Watson, the publisher of Short Fuse Media Group, founder of Freestyle Comics, one half of the good, the bad, and the nerdy, the most enthusiastic person in comics, aka the Super Mad Brother. And I am your host today of Chat and Draw. I can't even talk. I'm tired. I'm bewildered. But we're here. We're gonna dig in and we're gonna do it. And I hope I'm making my guest comfortable because she's a little bit nervous. And I told her she has nothing to be nervous about because look at the fool that I am making out of myself, slurring my words right now. So I just had Jamil on the show, and it was great. We knocked out that character, Absolver, and now I'm digging in here, sitting back with my host, my friend, because we just met each other a couple months ago. We've been talking and chatting and getting to know each other. Very happy to know her, and barely squeezed in the shower. Danny J. Quick has returned and come back to watch this one. Let's go ahead and get our tradition popping.
Here comes a new challenger!
Laurie Foster, everybody. We have her in her first live video interview. Bam, 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 bam. Making it happen on Chat and Draw, everybody. I've actually got to get that sound effect so I can just do that instead of making it. So, Laurie Foster, I've found that you are very popular in the indie community. And for those few people who don't know who you are, why don't you tell them what it is that you do and who you are?
All right. Well, it won't beat your intro because that was awesome. But I co-own independent publisher Unlikely Hero Studios. I'm also a comic inker, graphic designer, editor. I do a ton of stuff, honestly, but that's the main thing.
That's the main.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, that's a lot. And it is awesome that you do all those things. What character are we drawing? And can you give us an elevator pitch about said character?
You're going to be drawing Doc Hanover. She's the main character from our series, The Surgeon.
Okay.
I'm trying to think of a short way to describe her.
Okay.
Basically, she was a doctor. She had finished her residency in orthopedic surgery at Johns Hopkins, and then the world fell apart. And now it's the apocalypse, and she has to survive, and she's had to become really good with weapons, and unfortunately, she has to kill people instead of saving them.
She said, unfortunately. Unfortunately, she has to kill people. That was so nonchalant. Do we know the reason why she has to kill people, or is that spoiler territory?
No, we can go into it a bit. Well, it's kind of become the world's kind of it's not a friendly apocalypse. It's kind of a Mad Max style thing going on. So there's some, I guess we can call them roving bands of meth heads that go around killing people and stealing medicine, and so she needs to keep them at bay, so to speak.
Okay, I like the rolling bands of meth heads.
Yeah,
this is intriguing. I'm in. I'm invested now. So what is the premise of how our character looks? Now she's got on a poncho. It kind of looks Western style that she's rocking right now.
Right. Yeah. She's kind of dressed in like just crap that she's found. So she's not really stylish, you know. We got her poncho is actually a tarp.
Okay. Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah. And if you look closely, like she's kind of got scars on her face. Some of her teeth are broken. She has a missing fingertip on her right hand. Like she's not pretty.
Well, she's a survivor apparently, so I don't think she has time to worry about looks.
That's it. Exactly.
All right. So Laurie has brought on a challenging character for me because guns are hard as hell to freestyle.
That's true.
But we're gonna do it. We're gonna dig in here and we're gonna go into this. All right. So what is your favorite role? You wear so many hats. You have so many roles in this comic book game. What's your favorite one?
Um, that's a good question. Honestly, I like inking best.
Okay.
I am not a good self promoter or salesperson at all. Yeah, I like inking. I like um I like editing quite a bit too. Um
Okay.
I just I yeah, I need to get way better at self promotion. But anyway,
Yeah.
yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that. That's kind of like, why you have a team. That's why you have other people that work your ship. I am terrible at inking. It's not my favorite thing to do, despite what my editor in chief says. Um, but I have a really dope inker who inks really well, and my pencils and his inks complement each other very well. Like we're a really good team when it comes to that stuff or whatnot. But I had to do that because I knew that after spending 6 to 12 hours on any random comic book page, I'm not going to want to spend another 6 to 8 hours inking said comic book page after I've been drawing it because I'm out of gas.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, a good inker is just really it makes your life so much better.
Oh my goodness. And you are a pretty fantastic one. I am huge fan of this right here.
Oh
Back that
man.
Kickstarter. Um,
Thank you.
so when I first read this book and I got the trade digital or whatnot, I was like, this right here, this is dope. I immediately went out like to people that I was reading that I know read comics like, hey, this is on par. This is on par with some of your favorite joints, and you guys need to check that out. Super is super dope.
Thank you. Yeah, I think um it's sometimes a challenge. Sometimes a challenge to get people to read an indie comic, but I've found so far that when people try Super, they're like, "Oh, like this is actually really good."
Yeah, it's not what you like. So here's the thing. Like, I think Super has an awesome problem. Is that when you put it up on the wall with other comic books, it looks just like another comic book. It blends right in there and is on the same level as Marvel, DC, and Image and all those other books. You guys have not only a great art team, but an amazing production value that goes into your books.
Thank you. Yeah, we work really hard.
All righty. So, Lori, what is making you, Sean Mack in the building right now, what made you pick comics? Like, how did you get on that path? And you're like, this is it for me. So, like, what got you to saying, I want to work in comic books?
Um, well, when I was a kid, I absolutely love Spider-Man, and I owned a ton of Spider-Man comics, and I I don't know. I just I really like it just really appealed to me and I was like, it'd be really cool to make comics someday. And I kind of temporarily put it off and I went to college and I did chemistry and like did some other shit and then um came back and started doing art again and then I was like I need to build up my inking portfolio because I want to ink. I want to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And for a while I was inking and um, eventually I was hired by Unlikely Hero Studios and now I co-own it. So
What? Hold up. Hold up, Lord. No, we are not about to. She just fired and then now I own it. No, we're not about to gloss over that. What do you get fired for and then you end up co-owning the company? How does that happen?
well, they initially hired me to ink Super issue 2. Um and it went really well. And then I just started getting kind of more involved in helping them with Kickstarter stuff, and then it just kind of kept snowballing.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone decided to put me in charge. I kind of sound crazy right now, but
I don't know if you sound crazy. So like, how does that conversation how does that conversation go about, or how do you find that that's what you're doing, or like, are you doing this extra stuff for Kickstarter and stuff, and you're like, man, this is really really fun? Like, is that how you discovered it, by taking on more workload or different hats at the studio in the beginning?
right, exactly, yeah, yeah. So I was inking, and then they were working on the Kickstarter, and I was like, well, I have some ideas, and I can help you with that. And then initially the business was just a partnership, and I was like, we should make it an LLC because and just all kinds of stuff. And
Hmm. So what made you say specifically to them? So obviously you were brought on to this team. You were brought on to ink the book. They were already established. They were already doing things in your head. What's that process like to say, hey, I think you guys should make this LLC? No, I think you should do that. Like, what gave you the courage to step up and speak on those things?
that's a good question. uh, maybe just being nosier than I should be. um, yeah, I don't know. When I came into the company, it was kind of just, very casual, and like their company agreement was written on a napkin, and like it was very like, casual. And I was like, maybe, this, I feel like this could go somewhere. Maybe we should, make it a little more serious.
Maybe you put a little more thoughts into this, guys and gals.
Yeah, a little more, right? Yeah. Because yeah, the people who initially owned the company were great. They just were really good at writing and art, and not so much business stuff and Kickstarter stuff and
So, had you
everything.
done business stuff and Kickstarter stuff prior to your stint with Unlikely Studios?
No.
Oh, so not only did you just start talking about your ideas and stuff to the company that hired you for a freelancing gig, the things you're speaking on you've never dabbled in before. You just rolled those dice and said, "Here we go. I'm shooting my shot."
Yeah. Now that you like, when you say it like this, like I sound crazy. Like but yeah, no, I was just like, I have some ideas. Maybe we should try these. And I guess it worked out.
I don't know if it necessarily sounds crazy. Like, obviously you got in here. You're working with them. You saw some things that you thought might work. You pitched it. They didn't have to listen to you.
No, that's true.
They didn't have to take any of the advice that you were giving them. But as Dane J. Quick has just hashtag boss move, literally, it paid off.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fair.
All right, so that's a really cool origin story, Laurie.
Thank you. Yeah, it's kind of nuts actually.
Oh, the slinger slinging that gun. Let's see if we can bring her to life. I've already changed the pose like 3 times.
It's looking great. You got this.
I hope so. These accursed guns, they work with me. They trouble me. But it's one of the reasons why I do the show. I like to be challenged or whatnot. So, and it's helping me get massive practice on the art, which again, I want to shout out everyone that's been on the show and let me play with your characters, because all the practice and effort that I'm putting in on this is paying off in my own book. My book is looking good.
Oh yeah, yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah, you're gonna get it. Yeah. I can speak. I totally can speak. Yeah, I'm terrified to even ink on a live stream. So like, yeah, this is awesome.
Sean Mack says she sounds like Deborah Chow on the Mandalorian Gallery special. John Farrell said as soon as she came on the scene, she just owned it. Which, yeah. Thanks for reminding me, Sean Mack. I need to watch that. Freaking the last episode of Clone Wars came out. So now that all the episodes are out for the new season, now my daughter and I can watch it as soon as she finishes her dang homework. So she needs to hurry up because that's what's happening tonight.
Nice.
Golden Brandy says, stop being so humble. It's dope what you did. Toot that horn.
Thank you.
Diana says you are so talented.
Is that directed at you or me? Let's just call it both of us, right?
Well, okay. We'll take it both. I think it was more towards you because your story is pretty epic. So, how important is it to have female representation on the page and behind the page, Laurie?
Oh, man. I'm trying to think of where to start with that question. It's so important. It's so important in every way. It's important for girls to read comics and see characters that they aspire to be, and it's important for them to read a comic and see who made the comic and be like, holy shit, like a girl worked on that comic. I could do that. Like, when I first started inking, I had a lot of trouble just kind of getting work because of being a woman. I hate to say that, like it's, but I feel like there's just a lot of men who were upset. There's like kind of an ego issue, like a woman inking over my pencils, and just all kinds of stuff like that. When I first started inking, I kind of regretted telling people I was a woman. Unfortunately, like if I had gone in with a male pen name, I probably would have gotten more work. But at this point, it's paid off. It just took some time, but yeah, it's female representation is so important. Like we need more women working in comics and making comics and writing comics.
I absolutely agree. I caught some crap online before. Like I've put up a post a couple of different times where I was looking specifically for a female writer to write a book, and I'd get these posts where people were like, "Well, why can't you just have a guy do it?" I was like,
yeah,
I had a guy do it, and I like what the guy did, but now the story that I want to happen, I need a female perspective. Why is that so hard to understand?
Oh, they will lose their shit if you ask for a female artist or a female writer. It's guaranteed the first like 4 comments you'll get are males being like, but a male writer could do it. Like, what are you doing? Why? This isn't fair. This is sexism. And you're like,
dude, seriously, like, no. And I think all that kind of develops off of everyone's personal experience. I had a female artist help draw the second issue of Emerald Quest coming soon, and when she saw the characters and the hair that was designed on the women and whatnot, she texted me and was like, "Hey, Mike, you mind if I tweak the hair a little bit, the hair and the things you have going on there?" I was like, "I don't mind, but what's wrong with it?" She's like, just let me work on magic. And like she redid all the hair for us and it looks fantastic. And there's just like these little nuances and things that I don't think of because I'm not a woman that she did, because she's like, you couldn't comb your hair and make it look like this and it work or whatnot. And she just added little things that we needed to make those characters look dope. Or Stephanie Menard, she's right in Vigilance right now. her story for Visions number 4 is spot on, and it's like it's the subtle nuances that I wanted to have in the story without smacking you in the face or being a stereotype of what a female would do in the city or whatnot. And I think sometimes you have to have that. You have to have like yeah, you can research something and you can understand it and you can research it and you can write about it, but it is different when you actually live that life and you speak and write on it.
Yeah, no, I agree 100%. Like at the very least, a consultant, like if
Mhm.
you, but ideally you hire, the right person. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, yeah.
It's just fun stuff. Because it's needed. I mean, I don't even know how you can think that it's not.
Yeah, yeah. I've seen the same thing happen with people looking for artists and writers of color.
Hmm.
It's like
Yeah.
you want the cultural representation, you want someone who knows what they're doing, you want someone who knows how to draw and color people of color, because not most people don't. Like anyway.
No, you're right.
It's
It's a thing. And honestly, about even in movies and shows, I didn't even realize there was a difference. That you need to do different lighting for people of color. My wife and I watch Insecure, and we're like, these people look so good. Like, and then like we watch
yeah.
something else, we're like, what's wrong here? What's the difference between how they're shooting this movie or show versus how they're shooting it Insecure? And I watched one of the behind the scenes specials, and like they really pay attention to how they light people of color. There's different lighting or a different system that they use to make it look better and not dull or whatnot. I mean, I don't know the exact word, but all I know is that it looked good, and there is a
Yeah.
difference in how you operate and do these things.
Yeah,
Let's see.
exactly.
Let's see. All right, let's hit some of these comments here. Um, okay, we got the tutu. We got the you're so talented. Where is this being live streamed? This is being live streamed. Like where are we at? Laurie Foster, where are you located at?
I'm in Montana.
Montana. Okay. She's in Montana. I'm in Columbus, Ohio, and live streaming across YouTube and my Facebook pages. Kyer says yeah with a bunch of H's. Thanks for sharing the art in this episode, Mike. For showing the art in this episode. I've been showing the art. What are you talking about? Kevin says plug. Sean Max says savage, bro. That obviously that must have been to something else that we said earlier. Or maybe he's talking about somebody in the comments. Golden Brandy says female representation is so important. She capitalizes that. So women have always been the man behind the curtain just to keep things consistent. Sean Max says, I vaguely remember Laurie Foster doing editor work. Am I mistaken? If not, do you still do editing work? Laura,
Yeah. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Oh, no. You're fine. I just wanted to make sure. Like, that was a question directly towards you. So, she said,
yeah, I'm still doing editing work. I edit all of Unlikely Heroes books, of course, but I do other people's books for hire. Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, Maurice, what's up, man? How you doing? Kevin, Somnicast, yes, we're trying to get the word out on as much of this stuff as possible. I'm trying to increase my audience. Can't lie, I'm absolutely am. But we're also trying to get these amazing creators that are featured on the show out here too. So, Laurie, what is your chosen poison? Are you a digital inker or are you hand inking?
I am a digital inker.
Hey, ain't nothing wrong with it. I'm falling in love with these digital inks.
Yeah, I love digital inks. I've gotten a lot of shit for being a digital inker from traditionalists.
Mm-hmm.
I fought against traditionalists a lot, and they're like, it's not real inking, unless you use pens. And I'm like, I am using a pen. It's just on a screen instead of a piece of paper. Like, it's not, I feel like a lot of people think it's like you press a magic button and like things are just inked.
Yeah.
Digitally. You know what I mean? But it's just like a real pen. You can make textures. You're using a pen. It has pressure. It has, yeah. Anyway, sorry.
No, you're fine. You like go into the details because I haven't like I'm just scratching the surface of it. I've been working on the iPad for like the last year and a half, and and by accident now, I'm inking Hotshot, but I still don't think it's inking. Even though I'm using one of the inking pens, I turned it to a gray pencil color, so it still feels like I'm drawing with the pencil. But I haven't been able to find a pencil brush tip that I like to keep it in the pencil form. So I haven't even had time to go out and like really download brushes and practice and like mess around with that stuff. I've just kind of like dove right into it. So it's a
Oh,
lot.
nice. Yeah. I'm a fan of Clip Studio. I don't know what
Okay.
you're using.
Right for this one for the show, I'm using Procreate. I got Clip Studio, but man, I'm going there. I am going to go there, Lord. I am going to join. I'm going to join the Clip Studio fan club. I got it, and I've used it for some stuff, but that rabbit hole is deep and far, Lori.
Yeah. Yeah, don't worry. It took me like 6 years to switch to Clip Studio, and as soon as I switched, I was like, "Oh my god, I should have done this 6 years ago." Like, it's so good.
Okay, all right. So, what were you using prior to that?
I was using Art Rage, which is
Okay.
a kind of a lesser known program, but it had like the best inking pen, or so I thought, until I tried Clip Studio.
Mhm. Yeah, Clip Studio is awesome. I know a lot of creators that are using it. I want to do it. Like I actually need to get it for my computer because I have it for iPad, but all the options aren't available for it on iPad, and I really want to take full advantage of it. But
Oh, okay.
um,
Yeah.
how much time? Because like, so I'm forcing my way to practice by doing this show, by doing the drawing live, so it gives me practice time. But how much time do you get to practice your craft, or do you have to find convenient ways to sneak it in there?
That's a good question. I kind of practice while I work. I
Okay.
don't really have a lot of time to ink like a piece for fun, honestly.
Hmm.
It's kind of like constant inking or kickstartering or editing or just kind of everything. So with clients that are more flexible, I'll be like, "Hey, I'd really like to try this new technique out. Do you mind if I try it?" And they usually are cool with it, and then I can practice new stuff while I'm working.
Okay. So killing two birds with one stone.
Yeah.
All right. I've been working on my own stories for a while, so watching you draw as well as listening to Lori is extremely motivational. Well, thank you very much. I hope it is helping, sir. Show off the guns too have a lot to do with John. Show off the guns have a lot to do with John's skills. Yeah, because this gun is proving a little difficult for me. And another reason why I love the iPad, I'm gonna be drawing it on its own layer to really mess around with it. I wanted to make sure I could get her face in there and her hair. Because I really like how the hair is still she still has a bit of hair on the side of her face and coming out the back underneath the hat. But I wanted to make sure we can still get those scars. So that's a thing I've been learning is with this tool I can draw through everything and over top of it easier.
Yeah, it's awesome. There was actually a question higher up.
Oh, what was it?
If you don't mind me addressing it.
No, go ahead.
Or not a question, but a comment about, female characters with small boobs and small curves, as opposed to the typical TNA that we see a lot of the time in comics.
Yeah.
Um,
Go ahead.
And this character is actually a really good example of that. She's not sexualized at all. Obviously, it's the apocalypse. She's wearing overalls. She's, like I said, she's missing a fingertip. Like and we have actually had complaints that she isn't sexy.
Really?
Yeah, it's a sad reality, but yeah. So I think it's really important to have, you have a diversity. You have women of all shapes and sizes. Like, why do they all have to look like an hourglass? I think it's important.
Yeah. If you don't like what the character has, then why are you getting the book? Like, I'm not forcing you to buy this book or get into this character. So like, if you don't like it, that's okay. That means it's just not for you.
Yeah, exactly. There are lots of books with boobs.
Lots.
Lots. There are so many.
There is no shortage happening there. All right.
No.
You want it, you can find it.
Exactly.
Like, so did you happen to see the video on, and I'd like to know what you think about it. So you saw the hubbub with all the new warrior stuff, right?
Yeah.
So there was this video put out, or several videos, where people were dogging the new warriors and calling it trash and all that stuff. But at the same time, like, they're complaining about the big two. But it's like, guys, if you just step outside your normal store circumference and like go a little further down that aisle, there are a bunch of independent creators here that are making comic books. You can find us on Facebook and everything. So, like, do you think that mainstream has to provide an option, or can mainstream just do what it wants? And if you don't like it, move on.
Okay. There's layers to this.
There's layers. All right. Yeah. I love that as a precursor, Laurie. The great.
Yes. Well, first of all, yeah, there's a ton of indie books. Okay, so there's layers to this problem. First of all, people are afraid to try indie books, so they're only reading basically like Batman and Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm.
So as a reaction to that, the big two are like, well, we better take Batman and Spider-Man and change them because people won't look at other characters. And it's like, they don't need to. They can do what they want. And people should, like, there should be a bigger market for indie comics, and there should be sorry, this was like so much.
You're fine.
Like, we need representation and diversity in comics. It's just like, there's
Hey, you're okay. Take your time. We got plenty of time, and I've just hit the inking process, and I've still got to map out this damn gun. You got plenty of time. Go ahead.
It's looking great. Basically, the big two is forced to take the same characters and make them diverse because people aren't willing to try new characters. Like,
I think that's awesome to hear that from somebody else, because I say that all the time. Tell them the truth, dang it.
just based on how hard it has been to get people to try our books, like, it's difficult. Like, and a lot of the time you have to pitch it like, well, it's like Batman, but like, you have to compare it to something that people know, because otherwise, like, they're just not interested. Mm-hmm. It's really rough.
It's super rough. I do all types. I try to do whatever I can to sell my book. I try to get whatever I can do to get people over to my table just to hear me do the pitch for all the titles. I try to do what I can to get them on there, but representation is super important, and it hurts me a bit when people are saying that, when it doesn't matter, stop making comic books like this, because I think at the end of the day, that even if you don't like the books that Marvel and DC and Image or whoever are making in the mainstream, and you think those books are crappy or not well produced, well, guess what? They still need to be made, because if they're not buying them, but they see the public wants that type of thing, and whether you believe it or not, they do, then that forces them in a situation to have to, like, do better or open up avenues for different people. Oh, right. Shoot. Moana McAdams is in the building, everybody.
Hey, Moana. Awesome.
Oh man, we getting some comments out here, Lori.
That's great. That's it. And Daniel's comment, just like it, he's saying it, what I wanted to say, but better. Basically, people are like, they're like, with Thor, for example, they're like, oh, the new Thor is a woman, and they're bitching about it. And then it's like, but if they made a new character that was a woman, those people wouldn't buy that book.
Right.
Because they don't care about new characters. People care about Thor. So they're kind of, yeah.
Yeah, and I read The Mighty Thor. That story was good.
Yeah, it's good.
And guess what? I don't buy Thor comic books.
Yeah.
Never have. But I bought The Mighty Thor.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's it.
Let's see here. Diana says, we want to see more of your work, Lori. Please tell us more. Kyrie clears it up. He's saying, not those guns in the paper. He's saying Lori's guns. Laughing his butt off. Kevin says, I like digital inking, but clip is very temperamental and crash intermittently. Are there specific digital brushes you use or settings in the program you find optimal for inking? Oh, there's a tech question, Lori.
Okay. I haven't had problems with Clip Studio crashing. I normally use the G Pen for inking in Clip. Yeah, I'm not sure why you'd have crashing problems. You might need to update it.
You might need to update it. You might need to update the power in your computer too. These programs are constantly being updated.
Yeah.
And they need a lot of RAM and room to move and function. Let's see what else we got. Shamak says, we know the next volume issue of Elsewhere is coming. What's next for Unlikely Hero Studios?
Okay. The next planned book is going to be The Surgeon issue 3. And then well, we haven't told a lot of people, but I guess I can. Okay, there's a cat. 1 second.
Oh, that's amazing.
I'm sorry.
That's all right.
We're planning on actually releasing a super omnibus. And what we're going to be doing actually is we've already started. We're re-lettering issues 1 to 6 because while the books are really good, the lettering wasn't great, and we're way better at that now. So we're going to re-letter the books and republish them as a huge omnibus. There's going to be a huge tribute to Zach in the book. With a bunch of his art, probably a bunch of artists drawing Zach, all kinds of stuff. That'll hopefully be this year, depending on how coronavirus goes.
Excuse me.
Bless you.
Thanks. So that's awesome. So are we just releasing that, or is that going to be a Kickstarter?
Kickstarter.
Okay. So our next comment is, she doesn't need to be sexy. She can stab you and then stitch up the wound. You know,
Exactly.
I personally think that, you know, actions can make you sexy. So, you know, if you're a strong, powerful person that gets out here and gets it, that could be a turn on too. But that's just me, you know. I'm one person.
No, I can agree with that.
Let me see here. What's our next? Golden Brandy says, yes, talk about it. We don't like to be objectified. Michael says, complaints form fools, or unless he was saying from fools. I agree. Danny J. Quick says, absolutely, Moana Mike Adams was talking about that on her episode. Yes, because she was on here. Thank you for the plug, Danny J. Quick. Appreciate you. Kevin says there are enough comics to have those type of presentations. Go buy those. Exactly. There's enough for everybody to eat out here. That's what we're saying, man. We're trying to service as many people as you can. I've always thought that like people should be able to see themselves in comics and TVs and video games and all that stuff. And I never really realized it never hit me as much until I took my family to go see Enter the Spider-Verse. And my son is named after Peter Parker and Miles Morales. So his name is Miles Parker Watson. And he's watching this movie and Miles Morales, like that's it. My son is seeing his name up there on the screen with the cool character who happens to be Spider-Man. Yeah. And this character who moves and breathes and functions like I did when I was in school. That stuff connects, that clicks. Why would we ever want to cheat people out of having that similar experience?
Yeah. Also, Into the Spider-Verse is the best Spider-Man movie. Like, it is freaking amazing.
It is. It is.
Oh my God.
I love it. I love it. I like how Laurie came in and just like, just for the record, just in case you guys weren't paying attention. That's Spider-Man.
Sorry.
No, you're fine. I love that inner geekdom of you still coming out. Like we're doing a full blown. Just gotta let you know, it's real, everybody. Moana jumps in. She says, "What up, everybody?" Daniel Calvin says, "My issue is with the whole New Warriors thing is that it could work in context, but everyone is just being dismissive. But you're right. They need to broaden the horizons, and that applies to everyone. Problem is we're dealing with the reactionaries. Now, see, that's the thing. So one of these YouTube people, one of them, what up, Ren McKenzie? How you doing? One of these YouTube people complained about the New Warriors. They complained about Spider-Woman being pregnant. They complained about the new direction for all the new Star Wars comic books. They complained about all this stuff, but at the same time, they haven't read any of this stuff.
You're right.
So I'm like, I get it if at the trailer you don't like it, but it's a great thing that my brother came in at that time, Ren McKenzie. We have this rule. We can't trash something unless we've seen it, unless we've read it. Now, we can say, and we will, based off that trailer, that's not for me. But I cannot dog it until I've actually watched it or read it to know what it is. So, yeah, at its surface, it may not look like the thing that works. Even the interviews may not work for you. But what if you read that book and gave it a chance and it actually spoke to you? That could happen. You have no idea what this book is composed of. Oh man! So here we go. I'm digging this hat. Let me see here. What else we got? All right. Golden says, move on. If it's not for you, get your soft and hard fix from other outlets or make space for great art and great content. All right, Golden. I'm highlighting that comment. Kevin says, I mitigate this. I might get this. Oh, okay. I might get this by buying runs of books, bundles, or trades. Jason Aaron is a dope writer.
Kevin also said something. He said the issues he has with indie books is the consistency of publication. He doesn't like buying a fire comic and then never seeing the conclusion of the story, and oftentimes not even the next issue, which I think is if you don't mind me rambling about that for a second.
Oh, go right ahead, because it's a legitimate point.
Yeah, it is a legitimate point. It's a good point. Indie comics is rough. It's rough to have a really consistent release schedule. Like, I wish we had a more consistent one, and we're working up to it. It's been getting better, but with indie comics, first of all, like, it's harder to just be like, well, your artist is taking too long, hire another one. And it's harder to, sometimes Kickstarter is unpredictable because most indie companies are kickstarting. They're not, paying for this out of their own pocket. And the Kickstarter is hit or miss because we're not Brian Polito, and we don't make $500,000 per Kickstarter or whatever.
Right.
So release schedule can be unpredictable, but yeah, I think it's still worth it for indie books to back them. I do unfortunately see once in a while indie books that run a Kickstarter and then they don't fulfill it and they make us good guys look really bad.
Right. Absolutely.
But the important thing is that you kind of find indie publishers that you build trust with, like Short Fuse. who always send me their books. I've never not gotten a book from them, and the books are always great, So once you find one, you can keep backing them and keep getting good books, and that's what I've been doing.
Yeah. I think it is hard to put out books. Things happen, life happens. And I've made some mistakes. I've failed at putting out a book consistently. I've dropped the ball on a few different things, but I've tried to learn from those things and come back from it or whatnot. But one of the best things is like seeing people that want to get your books. And I will point out Danny J. Quick. I think he does a great job of giving people content without actually giving them a comic book. I think he finds ways to keep his fans invested and interested in his works. And then by the time that book comes out, they're still ready to get it. But I think people should have more of an open mind with indies when it comes to it. And I can get it and I can understand that. You get a book, you love it, and it takes a year for the next one to come out. But if you guys would go with indies more and give us more attention, we would get more funds. And it'd make it easier for those books to come out.
Yeah.
But it is what it is. I'm not complaining about it at all. I love it. I enjoy it so much. I'm lucky with the team that I have at Short Fuse and Freestyle Comics to have as many books as we do have out under that banner. I get the honor of being a part of all these books and stuff. And as I tell the whole Short Fuse roster, yes, some of you only have that #1 issue out right now, but there is at least 3 billion people out there in the world that does not have your #1 issue. And you can keep selling to those people. And by the time you sold to those people and found those people, you can get the funds to get that 2, 3, 4, and 5. You sell 1 billion books to 1 billion different people, you'll get your 3rd, your 4th, your 5th, your 6th, your 7th comic book out. So, there's ways around it. Keep your heads up. Danny J. Quick is excited. He's throwing up the hands about Surgeon issue 3. Diana says, keep pitching your books. Don't be shy. Moana is excited about the omnibus. Sean Max says, yeah, Eric is killing it on letters. Rim McKenzie back in here saying, what up, Mikey boy? Hello, Laurie. Danny J. Quick is loving the passion. Maurice says, women in comics should be powerful and crazy as hell too. Moana says, yes, make it hard for those who are delivering. So she's agreeing with what you're saying. Probably have to point out that the fingertip Doc's missing is the one you're about to draw in the trigger. Oh, is it? Thank you so much.
Just the tip of it.
Hey, good catch, Michael.
Yeah, thank you, because I am like not paying close attention. Like I'm looking at the drawing, but I'm not paying close attention to it because I'm like panicking because I'm interviewing. So.
I think Laurie is doing good. I think we missed a couple comments from Moana earlier. Moana said drawing parallels is tough because sometimes it feels like indies are not relevant unless we can compare it with a mainstream comic. Yeah, that is hard to do. And yeah, so she was obviously speaking on what you were saying earlier. And that's the context. I mean, one of my books I pitch, which is my fantasy book, I say it is Lord of the Rings meets X-Men in a Game of Thrones environment. And that's the pitch. Or luckily with Heroes International, I can say say they are the world's greatest superhero. Well, they are the world's premier superhero team, but they suck. And I get a laugh out of that. And I don't have to relate it to anything else because we all know what superhero teams are, but it's hard.
Yeah.
All right. I'm so glad they said that because all right, so we got that glove on there. And here we go. So like this is the part where I start getting into it. So is it like a nub? The fingertip, Laurie?
I think it's just like this up to the first knuckle that's missing.
Okay. All right. Hey man, that's great. That is the first time we had an online live editor and caught it before it happened. We hitting all types of first on this show. All right,
there
so
it.
go
Sorry.
ahead. Go ahead. No, go ahead.
There is actually a backstory as to how she lost that fingertip that I cannot tell you about, but there will be a story released about it at some point.
Awesome. Because I was just about to ask you how or what issue is it in so I can go cop it. Because I'm interested. And I bet you it's something. I'm going to say it's something petty. I'm going to say it's not even something that is like serious, like some grand shootout or some ridiculous knife fight. I think she was up all night, had to watch out wherever she was camped out at. It was a new area. Her back is to the wall. She couldn't go to sleep. And then she went scrounging for food, pulled out her knife to cut off some bologna, and then cut off her finger. That's what I'm calling it. That's what I'm saying it is right now.
I like this. I like this theory.
I'm putting it out there. All right. Kenneth says, whose work inspires you as an inker? Does anyone produce work that challenges you to be better? Oh, Lord, that's a good question.
Ooh, okay. Well, I've always liked Todd McFarlane's work as an inker, of course, but also Scott Williams. His inks over Jim Lee are ridiculous. Like what he inspires me to do is like, it's hard to even describe without showing it, but he would take what Jim Lee made and make it so much better. And like, it just really inspires me to do the same.
Yeah, because Jim just basically sketches now. He just does really tight sketches.
Yeah, it's rough. And his inker makes a masterpiece.
And you got to wonder, when you get to that level where your name is what sells the book and you still got to draw something and you can just put some sketches down that an inker can read and just make look beautiful, how much does that inker get paid a page?
Right? I want to know.
Because obviously he's been working with Jim Lee for a long time and Jim ain't trying to get rid of him no time soon.
No.
So you got to pay that person what's their worth and what they're bringing to the table for you.
Yeah. Yeah, I hope so. I hope he gets paid a lot.
Sean Mack said first cat for sure. Yes, the first cat to ever guest appear on Chat and Draw. Danny J. Quick says this show is all about spoilers, Laurie. Can you tell us some? No, Danny J. Quick is all about spoilers, Laurie. You don't have to tell us no spoilers if you don't want to. But I'm not going to stop you if you do.
I'm trying to think if there is something I can even tell you.
Well, you told us about the omnibus. That's new. Nobody knew that.
That's true. That's true. That is a bonus. I'm
not going to let Danny J. Quick guilt you into spoiling something.
I'm trying to think. Because if it's a spoiler, it can't be a huge spoiler.
Right. You still have a job to go back to after today.
Right.
So is this a particular gun, or is this just a gun that you guys designed for the book, for that style of that world?
For that particular piece of art, I believe Zach I think he just designed a gun. I'm not sure.
Okay.
The sword that she uses is a specific sword. Hang on. It's very specific, so I have to find it for you. I swear I wrote this somewhere. Oh my I can't find it, but it's a specific type of martial arts saber.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna play around with that some more. Let me go to a different layer. All right, so I've asked this question on every episode that we've done. What I guess? So this is even better. So it's gonna be a two-part question. What is
Okay.
your favorite movie and food prior to the situation that she's in, and then what's her favorite thing to eat after this situation?
Oh, that's okay. Okay, give me a second.
Oh, you're good. You're good. You're good.
During the situation, her favorite food is definitely catfish,
Okay.
like a fried catfish. She's kind of limited in what she can get, but when she gets to Turtle Island, where she meets a bunch of our main characters, they end up feeding her catfish, and she's absolutely ecstatic. I feel like she would tell people that her favorite movie is something badass, but it's like in reality it's actually The Notebook, but she's never told anyone that. Did I lose you on the stream?
Okay.
I think we've lost Mike, and I am here by myself. Hi, guys. Let me see if there's any more questions while I wait for Mike. Yeah, Mike is gone on my end, so we'll wait a minute for him to come back.
Oh, Lori, that was the worst situation. That has never happened before. I feel so bad, Lori. I'm sorry. Lori specifically tells me she is nervous. She is nervous about doing this or whatnot, and then the computer completely kicks me out, and she's on there by herself.
That was great.
Sean Mack says Danny J. Quick needs to be in Facebook jail during Chat and Draw episodes. Well, Lori, thank you for holding it down until I could come back.
No worries.
I was like, you were talking, and all of a sudden it stopped, and I saw it doing the spinning wheel thing, and it's been doing that since Corona, and we've been all home. It normally takes a couple seconds, and then it kicks back in, but it was like it kicked me out. I was like, what? No.
Yeah, I was talking, and then I noticed you weren't moving or drawing, and I was like, guys, I think I'm by myself.
Oh my goodness, is that like your scary movie, Lori?
being left alone to answer questions by myself.
Oh man. All right. So we've now hit that level now. Now that I've got it all laid out, and I've solved a couple of the issues that was forcing me to think, we're at the level of fun now. Now we're at the fun stage. And with the fun stage, I get my studio pen out, especially for this. He says a tarp?
Yep.
That's awesome. So do we can you tell us where she gets the tarp from?
She starts the series with it, so we don't know.
All right, all right, all right.
It's a mystery.
I ain't gonna push it. I'm not Danny J quick.
I can tell you that it's not from cutting bologna, though. I can tell you that. I'm sorry to disappoint you guys, but yeah.
Hey, I am sticking with my bologna theory. I'm sticking with it all day. Look, this issue's gonna come out, and she's gonna cut that finger off of bologna. I'm just gonna throw the book up in the air. I told y'all.
Now we're gonna change it just for you, like just to fuck with you.
I know. Laurie's sitting there all calm and stuff like, how did he know? Gotta play it off. All right, what do we got? Anybody got a joke? Interesting that he's gone, but it was his scream. It's better this way. Danny, you're never coming back on the show again. Perfect setup for a new host. Good riddance to Watson. Dang! Soon as I get out the room.
These people are brutal.
Short fused on the reel. Yes, Moana. Exactly. I love it. Let me bring that brush size down some. Now, I will ink in a pinch. Like, my editor has been telling me I just need to go ahead and edit the new issue because I am doing it digital. And it's just going to be quicker. And, budgets. I can appreciate what a good inker brings to a book. I know it's not my specialty. I'll do it in a pinch, but I respect the heck out of inkers, Laurie. So I appreciate what you bring to the table with your inking skills.
Thank you. Yeah. It's sometimes people don't realize how much work it is, I don't think.
No, they don't. And so I try to explain so I teach a couple of different comic book classes to kids and trying to explain the importance of what the inker does to them. Like, it's just tracing over the lines. I'm like, no, it is so much more than that. Like, dude, my inker has saved my butt on pieces. But it's because, you kind of build that relationship going back and forth with the inker. They can read your lines. They know what your intention is.
Yeah.
That is not easy.
Yeah. There's got to be communication. I've noticed with some people, like, who have hired me to ink too, like, I'll tell them, I'm flexible. I can change my style. And I think that's important too. Like, some inkers will just kind of have the same style no matter who they're inking over, which I feel like doesn't make sense because the penciler can have such a different style. You don't want to force it back into one inking style, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. So what's the longest it ever took you to ink a page?
Ooh, I've had some pretty bad Zach pages. I would say I would say he's done some 2-page spreads that took me probably 20 to 24 hours to ink the whole spread. Yeah.
I'm crying about my little time. Jeez.
Yeah, some of those spreads in Super, and there's some in the Surgeon too, are just like, they're so detailed. There's there's Sarah just mentioned there's a page in Super where it's like in issue 6 where it's just like a huge dance floor scene, and there's like I don't know, there's probably 50 characters, and there's cameos from all kinds of monsters from different movie references and shows and stuff, and some of those pages are just insane for inking.
And I've seen some stuff, man. He was a phenomenal artist.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it takes a phenomenal inker to go over top of his pencils, man, and bring them out.
Thank you. That's what he would say too.
All right, so I got let me see, Kevin saying rifling inside the barrel. I'm just trying to put some shadow in there. That's all. I don't even know what rifling is. You got me there, man. No more Watson dictatorship. Down with Watson. Oh man, that's my own brother, man. It's crazy.
Rifling is like the lines inside of the barrel that make the bullet spin, and then there's
Oh, okay.
rifling on the yeah.
Oh, that's crazy. Okay, so what were we watching? What were we watching? I think it was a documentary. Maybe it was a documentary. Yeah. They this wife or somebody killed this dude in front of his kid in his car with like a rifle gun from like the across the street, and they put these little tips on top of the bullets. So the rifling, the trifling, now that I know what it is, couldn't be on the bullet, so you couldn't identify what kind of gun it came from. My wife and I are watching this. It's like, you probably shouldn't sell those. Why the hell do you sell that?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I don't understand that. But that's funny. So that's a nice little plug. I love how I get to connect the stuff that I watch when I'm drawing with the actual show, Chat and Draw. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you for defining that for me. All right. Yeah, so we're going a little bit. I want to make sure I get this finished, and I'm almost there. I'm almost there. This is fun.
It's looking
Good
great.
time. Thank you. All right, so we did the. So did we do movie? We didn't answer the movie part. What the character's favorite movie was?
Oh, I answered it when you disappeared.
Oh, awesome! All right. Well, can you say it again? I didn't get to
Yeah,
hear
of course. I said I feel like she would tell people that she likes something really badass, you know, like The Matrix or something, but like secretly she likes The Notebook. I feel like she's one of those people. You know what I mean?
That's awesome. That's awesome, and that's a nice little character tweak right there. I think there's these kids online. They make a bunch of funny videos, and one of them, he was at home by himself and he was watching this real romantic film that was subtitled, and then his boys walked in the house, and so he threw the remote down and tried to pretend like he was talking on his phone, and it just came on, and his
Yeah.
friends just looked at him and was like, "You're lying." He's like, "All right, man, I do like this," and they did the whole thing where they gave him support and was like, "We like it too," and he looked at us and said, "That's how I wish this would have went," and then they completely dogged him
No.
for liking it. So I think that's great. That's a nice little character twist right there. And I'm officially dubbing you the best answer of that question.
Oh, nice. Excellent.
Yeah, that's really good. And so, and those are kind of like those are the kind of character things that you want to hear about, that you want to see. I always think it's awesome, you know, that you think so much about your character. Like, oh yeah, they would probably like this type of movie, or they would like this food. I cheated with mine. My main character is just me. So I love Lord of the
Oh.
Rings, and I love burritos from Chipotle. So his ass does too.
That's awesome. That makes it easier.
Yeah, but it doesn't help me with the other 20 some odd characters that we have. So that's a work in progress. Let's see. Oh, I have regular traditional belt. All right. So
I have some pouches.
I don't know if I actually.
Sorry.
Yes, you do have pouches. That's fine. It's actually pretty appropriate for the Apocalypse S era that she's in right now. But so I was going to ask you, when did you fall in love with comics? What was the book or title, or, you know?
Oh, well, it was a Spider-Man book. I don't remember the number.
That's okay.
Because I was probably like 8. But it was the Spider-Man book with Carnage.
Oh, okay.
And it was just like the coolest thing I'd ever seen in my life.
So you're probably talking about the Maximum Carnage saga.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure which one, but it's yeah.
That's cool. Maximum Carnage was the jump off, man. I remember that. That thing was crazy. They made an arcade video game about that.
Oh, really? Oh, that's awesome.
Lord knows exactly first. Remy King says that is Mike. He loves Lifetime movies. I have caught him watching Lady Love flicks, and he was like, "Oh, I was changing the channel." Never have I been ashamed of it because I love all types of movies, and if I fall into a little Lady Love flick, then that just so happens to be what it was. Actually, we just watched not the half of it on Netflix, and it was a really good movie. Netflix has come out with a lot of different, awesome little things that are just coming out under the radar. So I have no shame in my game.
Yeah, no, you shouldn't. I think you should like whatever you want. Like liking fruity drinks. Fruity drinks taste good. I don't care. You don't have to have a whiskey to be manly. If you can have a fucking cocktail. Sorry.
Oh yeah, that's fine. Yeah, drink what you want to drink. I'm not drinking this alcohol to be judged. I mean, I don't
Right.
Me, another good little quirk. So, whenever I go out with my friends and they've gone out to the bar, we go out to clubs and they drink or whatnot. Me and my brother Ren, we will get shots of cranberry juice, and we will sit there and go shot for shot with our friends, drinking cranberry juice while they're drinking alcohol, and we'll just go along. We'll just go right along with the whole thing.
That's awesome.
It's all about having a good time, man. That's all that matters at the end of the day.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm gonna cheat with that pouch. I'm gonna make that pouch a silhouette.
Don't tell everyone the secrets.
Yeah. I'm gonna draw that one out later. The whole thing. Yeah, and so you're not alone with not knowing the issue of your book, the book that made you fall in love with comics. Because I've been going on for years saying it was X-Men number 17, and it wasn't, or X-Men number 16, and it wasn't. It was X-Men number 18. Something just clicked when I was telling the story again online. I was like, man, I need to really check to see what book this is, because I really don't think it's the right number. I really don't. And I was wrong. It was the wrong number, and I needed to, Now I know. Now I know. So. In any of my interviews, it's issue 18 of X-Men.
Nice. Yeah, I'm going to have to verify what issue of Spider-Man it is.
So I'm imagining, that she has, how does that sword, does it have a sheath on the side of her or on the back?
The side.
Yeah, that's what that's what I was trying to check. That's what this little belt loop thing looks like it is. I wish I knew the name of things. All right, what else do we have here? So what's your favorite character in comics right now? Be it mainstream or indie?
Oh, wow. Okay, I need to think. In mainstream, I really like Gwenpool, actually.
Okay.
It's just a hilarious, like, lighthearted, ridiculous character. At least in terms of like modern comics right now.
Yeah, it absolutely is.
I'm trying to think of my favorite in indie comics. I think that's really hard to pick.
If you can't pick one, it's all right.
Oh,
You can say more than one.
Yeah, there's so many. Trying to think of like the books I've gotten recently too.
I think that's pretty good right there. That's all I want.
I'm having a brain fart about his name.
Yeah, I do that all the time. So, Lori, you're fine. That is right with the tradition of my show. I forget names. I pronounce them wrong. All of it.
It's yeah, I'm failing at life right now.
Well, we can come back to that. Sean wants to know what characters this is because he loves to drink and he loves juice. So why don't you tell him what characters this is and give him, because it looks like Sean just joined us.
Oh, this is Doc Hanover. He's from our book, The Surgeon. Basically, she was in school to be a doctor, and then the apocalypse hit, and she's had to learn how to survive and fight, as well as being a healer.
Oh, that's cool.
She's had to go against her nature a bit.
Oh, so have you ever seen The Last Kingdom?
I'm not sure.
It is a show on Netflix, and they have that type of character going on right now. She happens to be one of my favorite characters on there. But she is a nun who goes through some very traumatic crap, and she ends up meeting up with our main character and joining his team, and she ends up becoming a really dope like warrior. But she still has that nun in her, the religion and things like that in her. So she's not going full on, but she's protecting herself and protecting the people she cares about. So she is going against her nature.
Yeah, that's awesome.
But like they have these really good moments with her when she comes back to it and she questions what she does. She doesn't accept it. She doesn't like just go for it or whatnot and just accepts it as it is. She questions it, and it's something that she constantly deals with. And I think those are really good type of characters to have.
Yeah, exactly. It's that vibe. And she's really good at killing people, and that's like it's a moral dilemma when you're supposed to be healing people and you're good at it, but you have to kill people and you're also really good at that.
Here we go. Laurie. I think we have it. I'm going to hit them with the replay. And then, Laurie, while it's replaying, you can tell everybody where they can find you and get your books.
All right. So uhstudios.com is our website. Our web store's there. You guys can get all of our books in print. All of our books are also on Comixology, Unlikely Hero Studios, if you want them digital instead. Twitter is at UH Instagram is at UH Official. Facebook UH Studios. It should be pretty easy to find us. And I am LAF Inker on Twitter, if you ever want to chat. And you can also find me on Facebook.
Awesome. I'd like to thank everybody for tuning into this episode with Laurie. It's been a pleasure. And again, I've gotten to draw another awesome character and had a lot of fun drawing it. Hope you enjoy it, Laurie. I will be sending you a Google Drive link where you can download this. You can color it up and do whatever it is that you want to it. It's been a pleasure. Thank you for gracing us with your first TV live video interview. I hope you enjoyed yourself.
Yeah, thank you. It was really fun.
Zoom in on that. Had a lot of fun drawing this character. Anybody that's watching this, please give it a share. And also, if you don't mind, subscribe to my YouTube channel. We are doing stuff like this all of the time on there. Tomorrow, I will be joined by J.M. Hunter for Chat and Draw. The next episode, we'll be drawing. He's got me drawing something extra special, and it's really going to push me to my outer limits as a creative because I have no idea what it is. And I'm very sure it's not a comic book character. Well, it is a comic book character, but it's not a comic character that I am used to drawing. I think it's like Pirate Claus, Santa Claus, and a pirate put together or something. So you get to see me fluster and figure out how to draw that tomorrow live with everybody. I want to thank everyone for tuning in today's episode. Please give this young woman a follow. Go support her, cop her books, because they are good, and I enjoy them very much. And she has been great on here. give me a follow on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. And go be sure to check out the shortfusemediagroup.com website where you can get our books and get the physical copies because you get the digital for free. That's a win-win at shortfusemediagroup.com. And we'll be back tomorrow. Thank you for tuning in, everybody. I hope you enjoyed yourselves. This is the conclusion of the double hitter today. Oh, I didn't time it right. It's moving slow. Go.